Welcome back. Well, as you can see with what I'm wearing, it's pretty cold. It's winter time up here in Pennsylvania for all you people down south that are still sailing. So what do I do in the winter time? Well, I'm getting ready for the new season in 2017. So this episode, I'm going to go over some of the things I've been purchasing that are in great need to be replaced, or things that would just make sailing that much more enjoyable aboard Southern Lady. So stay tuned. I'll go over every item that so far I've been buying. And if you like what you see, I would appreciate a thumbs up, or even share or subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Well, the first thing up is a new inflatable life vest. This is a Mustang model with the D-rings for the built-in harness. I had these on my boat. They weren't Mustang, and I always felt that they were a little bit undersized for me. I'm a kind of a big guy, so I bought a new one. I've seen other people on YouTube channels use this particular brand, and it did have a good rating. So this is something I bought. It'll get good use. My goal this year is to be wearing a harness all the time when I'm by myself, and be clipped in anytime I go forward. If I'm in the cockpit, I probably won't be clipped in, but I will be wearing this at all times. So that's number one safety item. The next item is a new horseshoe buoy. You may have seen on one of my previous videos that my old one was seriously degraded by UV light. It was coming apart. I was considering recovering it with some trucking tarp material, which looks a lot like what's already on this. It's a PVC coated polyester fabric. So I bought a new one. It was time. The other one was probably as old as the boat, which is like 30 years old. So that's the next item I got. Next item is a battery combiner. This is a Magnum Energy Smart Battery Combiner. It's for either 12 volts or 24 volts. I have one house battery and one starter battery. They're identical. They're both deep cycle batteries. And what I've been doing is manually switching from one to the other to charge them, or many times I just leave them both on. So the solar panels charge both together. I start the engine with both of them together. I run the risk of not so much using too much energy in the evening or at night. The real risk is if one of the batteries goes bad, it could self-discharge the other battery, and I could end up with no energy in the morning. It's not a huge risk. I do have other options in terms of calling Sea-Tow to get a jump start on my engine, but I thought, you know, it was time to put in something that will selectively charge one battery over the other. So that's the story on this energy combiner. Up next, in some of my past videos, at least one of them, you might remember that I was having some trouble with my fuel gauge and fuel sending unit. I did get it to work, but it does work somewhat erratically. I always end up having a lot more fuel in the tank than what my gauge indicates, which is good. At least I have more than I think. But there's nothing like having the correct data that you can decide, do I need to stop and put fuel in it, or do I have almost a fuel tank, a full tank? So what I did is I purchased a new sending unit and a new gauge. The sending unit, rather than being a float type that pivots, this just has a sensor that rides up and down the shaft here. So that's going to go in. I get to go down into the Lazarus again, but at least I know the quickest way to take things apart. And then the next item is a clamp-on vise. It's made to clamp onto a 2-inch thick table, and I believe the jaws open up to 2 to 3 inches. Fairly well made. It's made by Irwin. I think it's less than $20 that I paid for it. It seems pretty well made. It's cast iron. So I will cover this with some WD-40 and keep it in a plastic bag on the boat when I'm not using it to keep it from rusting. But there's many times I need a clamp to hold something firmly while I tap it or squeeze it or whatever, or even just solder something, just something good to hold it. So many times when I'm on the boat, it's like, boy, I wish I had a little vise. So I think this will fit the bill real nicely. And finally, I bought this for the Galley. This is a dish drainer, all made of stainless steel, with a little basket for utensils, a rack for dishes and cups, and this nice little stainless steel tray. Currently, what I do is I stack my dirty dishes right on my counter, which is to my right, the right of the sink. And then as I wash them, I put them over on the companionway steps. It's not uncommon for a dish to fall off my companionway because it's not very, not very wide. This will fit on those steps perfectly. So I can take a dirty dish, wash it, put it over on this rack. This is nice. I mean, it's perfect for like a boat or even an RV. For anybody out there, my subscribers who may be RVers, doesn't take up a lot of room. It's not big enough if you have a whole family, but for two people, yeah, I think it's perfect. Especially if you keep up with your dishes as you make them dirty. So that's pretty much it. As the winter goes on, there's probably going to be other minor items that I'm going to need to buy. Probably the biggest thing I may end up buying this year are 2 new deep cycle batteries. The batteries that are on the boat right now are as old as the boat that I've owned it. I've had the boat for 8 years, and I know the batteries were not brand new when I bought the boat. So I don't really know how old they are. They could be 9 years, 10 years, I don't know. But to have a battery last 8 years, I think is pretty remarkable. I've taken good care of them. I keep them fully charged. They're always on a float charge with my solar panels. So, until the controller goes bad and it overcharges them or undercharges them, I think, I got a good system. So I think this year will be the year that rather than risk ending up with a bad battery in the middle of the sailing season, while the boat is on the hard, it's going to be a lot easier for me to use the boom and hoist up right out of my car 2 new batteries. Currently I have batteries that are 105 amp hours, and I will be upgrading that to 125 amp hours. The 125 are just a little bit taller, but they're the same footprint, so I won't need to make modifications to the boat, and I got plenty of headroom above the batteries for that. I would like to buy Lifeline batteries. They're somewhat of a premium, but they're well-known batteries of very good quality that meet military specifications. So other than that, I think I'll be pretty well set in terms of maintenance items and things just that make the sailing experience that much better. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Share my channel. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel. I try to get videos out once a week, and we'll see how the season goes. If I have something more, I may issue something a little more than once a week. If not, maybe it'll go every 2 weeks. We'll just see what the content is. But anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching, and welcome to the new year. You have a great rest of the winter, and if you're in a warm spot, enjoy your sailing. Thanks for watching, and you have a good day.